Magandang buhay! Welcome again to our new topic in general mathematics entitled as the inverse functions. So right now, our target skills are understand the concept of inverse functions, find the inverse function of one-to-one function, and prove that the two given functions are inverses. So with that, let us start. Let's start with the concept of inverse functions. It says here that let a function f be one-to-one function. Then, the inverse function, f raised to -1, is the set of ordered pairs obtained from f by interchanging the first and second elements of each ordered pair. So, himay-himay natin. Kailangan daw, ang inverse function ay one-to-one. Pag sinabi nating one-to-one, balikan natin yung nangyari sa atin nung tayo ay nagsa-start ng functions. Once you say one-to-one, one variable, one value of x is paired up with one value in y. Kaya siya one-to-one. Okay? At ano daw ang gagawin sa inverse function? We're just going to interchange the first and the second elements. Kumbaga, lahat ng x ay magiging y, yung y magiging x. At ang symbol ay yung f raised to -1. Okay po? So, yan po ang ating symbol for inverse functions. Now, I want you to observe this. Yan yung binabanggit ko kanina, nag-interchange. On my left side, that is the given function. And on the right side, that is the inverse. What can you notice? Okay, very good. As you can notice, yung domain at saka yung range dito sa actual na given na function ay nagkabaliktad doon sa inverse function. So, ganun kasimple yung inverse functions. Nag-interchange yung elements in the x and the y's. Okay? Now, in graph, anong itsura niya? So, as you can notice here, yung itong nasa baba, on this one, this is the original function, the f of x, at yung inverse naman ay itong nasa upper portion. Kumbaga, reflection siya. Kaya nga ang tawag sa inverse function ay reverses of another function. Okay? So, I hope that's clear. Now, how to find the inverse of a function? First one, change f of x into y. Second, interchange x and y. The third one, solve for y. And the fourth one, replace the y into the given symbol of the function. So that is f raised to -1 of x. So let's start solving. Find the inverse function of f of x is equal to 2x minus 5. So balikan natin yung step by step. Siyempre, kopyahin muna natin yung given. And then, sabi daw, sa first step, we're going to change f of x into y. So, itong f of x, naging y lang siya. Then, the next one, interchange x and y. So, itong una, y siya, magiging x lang. Tapos, yung x, magiging y. So, as simple as that. And then, solve for y. Kailangan, y lang ang matira sa isang side. Kumbaga, solve for y in terms of x. So for that given, transfer lang natin or yung addition property of equality, add 5 on both sides. So we will have x plus 5 is equal to 2y. And then we're going to divide it by 2 because our goal is to make only y here. And then cancel 2. So, ang matitira na lang is yung y is equal to x plus 5 over 2. And then the last step, we're just going to replace this y by the symbol of the inverse function, which is f raised to -1 of x. And that's it. X plus 5 over 2 is the inverse of 2x minus 5. Okay, now, this is the graph of that two functions na inverse ang isa't isa. Itong color red, yan po ang talagang given function. That is the 2x minus 5. And then, yung color blue, yan naman yung inverse na nakuha natin na x plus 5 over 2. Okay? So with that, let's have another example. Find the inverse function of f of x is equal to 1 over x minus 3. So sundan lang ulit natin yung step-by-step process. First one, we're going to copy the given. So we will have f of x is equal to 1 over x minus 3. And then change f of x into y. So itong f of x na to, gagawin lang natin siyang y. As simple as that. And then copy the rest. The next step, pagpalitin lang daw natin si y magiging x, and then yung x magiging y. And then solve for y na po. So, for this case, pag gaganito, meron tayong rational function dito. Ito, lagyan natin ng over 1. And then, yung ginagawa natin dati, na cross-multiply. Nakakapag-cross-multiply lang tayo kasi may equal sign dito sa pagitna nila. So, x times y minus 3, and then 1 times 1. Okay? So, shortcut yan. And you're just going to distribute. Distribute x on y minus 3. So we will have x times y is xy. And x times negative 3 is negative 3x. And 1 times 1 is 1. Then, ang goal natin, kailangan y lang ang matira. So, hindi natin kailangan si negative 3x. So, magiging xy is equal to 3x plus 1. Tapos, dahil y lang ang kailangan natin, so divide x on both sides. So, magiging over x. So, kakancel na natin to. So, ang matitira, y is equal to 3x plus 1 over x. Then, our last step, sabi, i-replace na natin si y doon sa symbol ng ating inverse function. So, magiging f raised to negative 1 of x is equal to 3x plus 1 over x. And this is now the inverse of our given function. Okay? So, I hope that is clear. Another example. Find the inverse of the given function g of x is equal to x minus 1 over x plus 2. So, kung papansin nyo, naging g lang naman siya. Pero, parehas lang naman yan. Napalitan lang yan ng name. Okay? So, huwag malilito. So, this one, g of x is equal to x minus 1 over x plus 2. And then, ito yung usual natin na rule, di ba? So, ito, ibig sabihin yan, g of x yan. Okay, palitan lang. Parehas lang naman po yan. So, x minus 1 over x plus 2. And then, interchange x and y. So, lahat ng y magiging x. Lahat ng x magiging y. And then, solve for y na po. Dapat yung y ulit ang matira sa isang side. So, katulad ng ginawa natin kanina, over 1. And then, our goal here is to cross multiply. So, x times y plus 2 is equal to 1 times y minus 1. Okay? And then, katulad kanina, distribute lang po para ma-simplify natin. So, magiging x times y is xy, and then 2 times x is 2x. And then 1 times any of the expressions is still the same. Then, simplify. Lahat ng y pagsamahin na. So, magiging xy minus y. Okay? And then, lipat to sa kabila, magiging 2x minus 1. Pero yung 2x, magiging negative kasi nilipat mo na siya eh. So, kumbaga, ang ginawa natin dito is yung combine like terms. Bakit? Kasi may y to eh. Okay? So, target natin, mapapansin nyo dito, si y lang. So, let me highlight it. Papansin nyo, may common factor. There is a common factor. So, Pagka may common factor, matik, magfa-factoring tayo. Okay, do the factoring technique. So, ang gagawin natin, sino ba ang common factor natin dyan? Okay, that is y. Then, divide mo lang. xy divided by y. Kumbaga, tinanggal mo lang si y sa tabi ng x. So, x na lang matitira. And then, y divided by y, ito na kasi yun, nilabas mo na. So, magiging minus 1 is equal to negative 2x minus 1. And then, divide both sides by x minus 1. And then, cancel. Magiging y is equal to negative 2x minus 1 over x minus 1. Ma'am, pwede bang i-cancel to yung x minus 1 sa taas tsaka sa baba? Hindi po. Kasi magkaiba to. Ito ay negative 2x. Ito naman ay x. And that's it. Doon na papasok yung ating last step na i-replace lang natin yung symbol ng y doon sa talagang symbol ng inverse. So, magiging hindi na f kasi ang ginagamit natin na function ay g. So, let me clarify that. Dahil ang given natin ay g, so g ang gagamitin natin. So, ito po yan ha. So, magiging g raised to negative 1 of x, tapos ang inverse natin ay negative 2x minus 1 over x minus 1. And this is now the inverse of the given g of x is equal to x minus 1 over x plus 2. Okay, so I hope that's clear. Let's try another one. Find the inverse function of p of x is equal to 7x cubed minus 1. Same processes again. Okay? Sundan lang natin yan. So, ang given natin, p of x is equal to 7x cubed minus 1. And then, change p of x. So, ito, yung notation ng function, papalitan mo lang ng y. So, magiging y is equal to 7x cubed minus 1. And then, interchange lang natin. So, si y magiging x, si x magiging y. Then, solve for y. So, big sabihin, hindi natin kailangan si negative 1 dyan. Lipat sa kabila. X plus 1 is equal to 7y cubed. Hindi natin kailangan si 7. Divide both sides by 7. Canceling this, it will have y cubed. And then x plus 1 over 7. Eh, ma'am, may cube. Anong gagawin natin? So, paano ba magtanggal? Katulad kung kanina, cube to. So, ibig sabihin, gagawin natin cube root para ma-cancel natin. Okay po? Kasi ang katumbas niyan ay 1/3 din pagka minultiply dyan. So, maka-cancel yan. Ngayon, ang mangyayari na dyan, y is equal to x plus 1 over 7. Tapos, ang last step na, palitan lang natin. So, ang gamit natin ay p of x, kaya ang inverse ay p raised to negative 1 of x is equal to x plus 1 over 7. And that's it. That's now the inverse of the given p of x. Another example. How about if we have f of x is equal to the square root of x plus 5? Same processes. You can pause this video, tapos solve ninyo. Then afterwards, kung solve nyo na, tingnan ninyo kung paano ko ginawa para matry nyo din. So, ang given, f of x is equal to the square root of x plus 5. Then, palit lang ulit yung function notation into y. And then, interchange. Y will become x. And then, x will become y. Tapos, katulad nung kanina, nagtatanggal tayo ng exponents, ginagamitan natin ng square roots. Ganito naman, yung square roots, parehas lang din. Tatanggalan natin yan dahil tayo ay magsisquare. Okay? So, square mo siya. Para matanggal yung square roots. Okay? So, magiging x squared is equal to y plus 5. Eh, di madaling masimplify. Lipat to sa kabila. Magiging x squared minus 5 is equal to y. And that's it for the solve for y. Ngayon, palitan na natin. So, magiging f, the inverse of f is equal to x squared minus 5. And that's it. That's the inverse. So let's now proceed on the properties of inverse functions. Given a one-to-one function, f of x, and its inverse, then the following are true. If and only if the first one, the inverse of a function is f of x, at totoo naman po yun na ang mga nakuha natin kanina ay mga functions. Then, pagka daw kinuha natin yung composite functions ng inverses, ay dapat mag-equal daw kay x. So, ang ibig sabihin nito ay f circle of the inverse of x. Ito namang isa, kabaliktaran lang kasi nga inverse eh. The inverse circle f of x. Dapat daw mag-equal yan kay x. Okay? So, with that, let's try. Let's prove na itong given natin kanina ay talagang inverse itong x plus 5 over 2. So, katulad nung kaninang isang property, f circle of the inverse of x. Tapos, yung isa naman, kabaligtaran lang, the inverse of the circle of f. Solve natin. Balikan natin ha, yung composite functions. So, ito magiging f of negative 1 or the inverse of x. And then, diba, from right to left yon, yung inverse. Ano ba yung inverse kanina? The x plus 5 over 2. Diba, ganyan yon. Tapos, yung function natin na given ay 2x minus 5. So, let me change the color for you to be guided. Yung x dito na given, ang ipapalit mo, itong inverse. Okay? So, ngayon, magiging 2 times x plus 5 over 2 and then minus 5. Then, simplify mo lang. As you can notice, pwede tayong may i-cancel. Di ba po? O, cancel natin si 2. Ang maiiwan na lang natin ay ang x plus 5. Tsaka, minus 5. Eh, we all know that that 5 minus 5 is equal to 0. So, magiging x na lang siya. So, na-achieve natin yung second property. Yung third property naman kaya, x pa din kaya. So, let us try. So, baliktad lang. Ang isa-substitute naman natin ngayon yung given na function, which is the 2x minus 5. Then, kopyahin mo yung inverse. So, that is x plus 5 over 2. So, let me change again the color of my pen para guided tayo. So, yung x dito sa x plus 5, ang ipapalit lang natin ay ang 2x minus 5. Okay? So, ito po yun. Yan ang ipapalit natin. Then, let's proceed. So, magiging 2x minus 5. Yan yung x. Tugtungan natin yung talagang given, x plus, that's plus 5 over 2. Then, simplify mo lang. Negative 5 plus 5 is 0. So, 2x over 2. Then, alam nating lahat na yung 2 na yan ay makakancel, right? So, mag-equal tayo kay x. And they are both the same na x. So, ibig sabihin, inverses sila ng isa't isa. Okay? Another one. Prove that the given function 2x and its inverse is 1/2 x are inverse functions. So, ganun ulit. F, circle of the inverse of x at saka, baligtarin lang ulit, the inverse circle f of x. So, f of the inverse of x. So, yung f natin ay, mamaya na natin i-substitute, tapos yung inverse natin ay 1/2 x. And then, yung given ay 2x. So, yung x dito, papalitan lang natin ng 1/2 x. So, magiging 2 times 1/2 x. So, yan yun. And as you can notice, pwedeng may makancel. And 1 times x is x. Yay! X na siya. Next naman na i-prove natin. Paano pag kabaliktad na? So, the inverse of the f of x. So, inverse. Tapos, ang f of x natin ay 2x. And then, yung inverse ay 1/2 x. Itong x na to, ang ipapalit natin ay si 2x. So, magiging 1/2 times 2x. At malinaw na malinaw, kaya nating i-cancel to. And 1 times x is x. And parehas ulit silang x. So, ibig sabihin, they are inverses. Okay, so I hope that's clear. Let me go back again to remind you that the inverse function is the set of ordered pairs obtained from f by interchanging the x and the y's, and its symbol is f raised to the negative 1. And this function should be a one-to-one function. Paano natin makukuha yon? By changing the function notation into y, interchange x and y, then solve for y in terms of x, then we're just going to replace y by the inverse notation. And its properties, kailangan nating tandaan that the inverse of is f of x, and yung composite functions niya, pag pinag-interchange, dapat ay x lang lagi. With that, math may be difficult for most of us, but do not give up. Let us continue to practice and persevere. Math isip ng mabuti, math tanong pag hindi maunawaan, math usap tayo. Maraming salamat po, and God bless us.